There's an ocean of pure, vibrant consciousness inside each one of us. And it's right at the source and base of mind, right at the source of thought, and it's also at the source of all matter. You dive within and transcending, experiencing this field of pure consciousness, and you enliven it, you unfold it, it grows. And the final outcome of this growth of consciousness is called enlightenment. And enlightenment is the full potential of all of us human beings.
You can achieve an incredible degree of power over your own reality through knowledge of the universal laws of existence. These principles are often viewed as spiritual or metaphysical because they describe how the mind intertwines with matter and energy. But when you understand them properly, you'll see that there is no distinction between the spiritual world and the physical one. The 12 laws are universal because they apply equally to everything in existence. All mind and matter in existence are united in a single, continually transforming system. Everything within that system unfolds and evolves according to a set of organizing principles that apply throughout the entirety of space-time. These principles can be expressed as 12 universal spiritual laws that describe how the inner worlds of thought, emotions, and desires interact with the outer world of matter and energy. Understanding these laws allows us to consciously create the events that manifest in our lives. Instead of being blindly driven by unknown forces, we can use the natural tendencies of the universe to bring our deepest desires into being. These universal laws are found in spiritual traditions dating back to some of the most ancient civilizations on Earth. However, their true meaning has often been hidden by symbolism or distorted by prejudice, ignorance, and greed. This video will be the first in a two-part series on the 12 universal laws. Part 1 will explore the first 6 of these governing principles. Working in harmony with these laws lets you begin to take charge of what manifests in your life. Part 2 will discuss the 6 remaining laws, which hold the keys to more advanced techniques of energy transmutation and reality creation. The Law of Oneness. The most basic principle of existence is that everything in the universe takes shape within a single field of conscious energy. No matter how separate any two things appear, they are part of the same cosmic system. Modern science provides a partial glimpse of this truth. It describes the universe as an interconnected system of matter and energy, unfolding from a single point. What this model fails to account for is the mental side of reality. According to the law of oneness, there is no distinction between consciousness and matter. Everything that exists is part of a single living mind. The world around you appears solid, but from the perspective of the universal consciousness, it's no more than a vivid daydream. This principle reveals why it's possible to influence the world with your thoughts. Reality is a mental phenomenon as well as a physical one. The stars in the sky and your thoughts about them exist within the same immense multidimensional mind. The law of vibration. Like a stone thrown into the water, thought produces ripples and waves, which spread out over the great ocean of thought. Quantum field theory tells us that the fundamental particles that make up the universe are actually waves with an underlying energy field. The law of vibration goes further. It states that everything in existence, including thoughts and feelings, is composed of fluctuations in the universal field of conscious energy. If anything stopped vibrating for even an instant, it would no longer exist. This is the hidden meaning of spiritual teachings which state that the world was formed from holy mantras or words of power spoken by God. The difference between mind and matter is a difference in vibrational energy. Slower waves form the dense substances of the material world. Forces like light and gravity are formed by higher energy vibrations. The fluctuations which constitute our conscious minds are even more rapid, moving so quickly that they cannot be detected by physical instruments. Different mental states resonate at different frequencies. When those vibrations are strong and clear, they can spread to other objects or people. Picture a pair of tuning forks. If you hit one, it will begin to vibrate, giving off a single sustained frequency. When you move it close to the other fork, The second one will pick up that frequency and will also start to vibrate without any physical contact. Ideas and emotions can jump between people, places, and objects in a similar way. The simplest technique of thought manifestation relies on the law of vibration. By cultivating strong positive emotions, you encourage your circumstances to reflect those emotions. For example, focusing on gratitude will begin to fill your life with more things to be grateful for. The process can also work the other way, which is why it's important to learn to let go of destructive emotions. When you obsess over the things you don't have, you're projecting vibrations of poverty and frustration into the universe. The first step on the path to thought manifestation is to pay close attention to your emotional responses and redirect them when necessary. Practice calling up feelings of happiness, confidence, satisfaction, thankfulness, and joy. In time, you'll be able to tap into these emotions at will, steering yourself away from destructive vibrations like frustration, envy, and bitterness. The Law of Correspondence. Although reality is a single, undivided unity at its deepest level, we experience it in the form of countless interacting parts. The Law of Correspondence explains this contradiction by stating that each piece of reality contains the structure of the whole. The universe is like a fractal image in which the same patterns appear no matter how far you zoom in. According to the esoteric system known as the Kabbalah, this is the hidden meaning of the biblical statement that Adam, the first human, was made in the image of God. The structure of the human body is a miniature diagram of the divine energy matrix which creates the universe. The creative powers of individuals function in the same way, though on a smaller scale. We generate patterns in our minds which then repeat over and over again, appearing in even the smallest events in our lives. Therefore, when you're not getting what you want, look for the persistent obstacles in your way and try to perceive how they're linked to your habits of thought. For instance, you might find yourself constantly running into delays that hamper progress in your work, your travel plans, and even your romantic life. Once you notice this pattern, examine your personality for related issues. Perhaps you'll discover that you have an unhealthy tendency toward hesitation and indecision. Because of the law of correspondence, this negative pattern expresses itself in every facet of your existence. The positive side of this law is that even tiny changes can alter the whole pattern. Try making a conscious choice to be more proactive in one small way. This initial change will make further transformation even easier, creating a positive feedback loop that can change your whole world for the better. The law of attraction. We are sending out thoughts of greater or less intensity all the time, and we are reaping the results of such thoughts. Not only do our thought waves influence ourselves and others, but they have a magnetic power. They attract to us the thoughts of others, things, circumstances, and people in accordance with the character of the thoughts most dominant in our minds. While the law of vibration states that thoughts and feelings can spread outward, the law of attraction says that they can also draw things in. Much like the fluctuations of an electromagnetic field, mental vibrations exert an attractive or repulsive force. They can pull people, objects, events, and possibilities toward you within the unified energy field of reality. Therefore, focusing strongly enough on a particular outcome helps it manifest in your life. Set aside a few minutes each day to concentrate on a vivid mental picture of your desired future. Always do this from a first-person viewpoint. Imagine what you'll see, hear, and feel when you reach your goal. Make sure to feel yourself performing actions within this mental scene. This will help you project yourself into it more fully. Your feelings must also be in alignment with your thoughts. If you picture success but feel discouraged or unhappy, you're producing contradictory vibrations. They'll cancel each other out, like the destructive interference that occurs between electromagnetic waves with opposing frequencies. While picturing your goal, fill yourself with the emotions of happiness, confidence, and generosity that will come when you've achieved everything you want. With repeated practice, you'll find that your circumstances are guiding you toward what you desire. The law of action. Many people fail in their attempts at manifesting their desires because they assume that wishing for good things is all that's necessary. The law of action says that the mental and physical aspects of your being only function effectively when they're in harmony. You must act in the outer world as well as the inner to bring your goals into being. Once you set your intention, start taking practical steps toward it. Inaction sends a signal to the universal consciousness that you don't want anything to change. It can also reinforce feelings such as indecision, helplessness, and fear, sabotaging your efforts to project constructive thought vibrations. This doesn't mean you should act blindly. Pay attention to any intuitive promptings from your subconscious mind. These are often the early results of attempts at manifestation. They occur because you're becoming aware of vibrations from the universal energy field, drawing you toward your goal. Often, they will guide you toward exactly the right actions that will bring about your desires. The law of cause and effect. The great sixth Hermetic principle, the principle of cause and effect, embodies the truth that law pervades the universe and nothing happens by chance. Put in simple terms, the law of cause and effect states that everything in existence happens for a reason. Things that appear chaotic to us are simply the effects of causes we don't understand. This law is easy to misunderstand. It doesn't mean that people suffering from misfortune are responsible for their own problems. The universe is unfathomably complex, and our actions are not the only causes operating in our lives. In fact, many of the causal forces at work in the universe stand outside of space-time as we know it. As we explained earlier, minds occupy a higher energy vibrational state than matter. What we didn't mention is that there are even more intense vibrations than our everyday consciousness. These are the higher states of consciousness that are sometimes glimpsed in advanced meditation practice. Minds attuned to these vibrations can directly perceive the unified, multidimensional matrix of consciousness which makes up reality. This gives them a much greater ability to influence the events which occur at the lower energy levels we perceive as the material universe. Everything in our everyday reality is merely an effect of causes operating at higher vibrational levels. Some people call those causal forces gods or angels. Some think of them as advanced beings from other dimensions of reality. Others simply consider them higher parts of ourselves that we cannot yet perceive. In a sense, all of these viewpoints are correct. These higher energy minds are not truly separate from our own, since they exist closer to the level of vibration at which all separation between beings disappears. Though we cannot normally perceive them, they are deeply intertwined with our own minds. The law of cause and effect dictates that you can have a greater influence on reality from a more advanced vibrational state. This is one reason many people perform spiritual practices like meditation. The mental focus you gain from meditation allows you to look past your ordinary thoughts and tap into the deeper consciousness, which is the source. The further into your own mind you go, the closer you get to the ultimate source, which produces every effect in the universe. When you understand the universal laws, you are in essence understanding the personality of the unified mind underlying existence. Operating in harmony with these principles makes it possible to free yourself from self-defeating patterns and draw your desires into your life.